has this order to be showing them, so that's going to be fun. Behind me, it's a mess. I am in a process of rearranging my room. I believe it's going to be a previous video that is going to go up before this one, but in one video I mentioned that I got a new bookshelf, or like an extension to my bookshelf, and I started rearranging things, and it's chef's kiss. It's so good, and I am genuinely extremely hyped for the moment I'm going to do a bookshelf tour. I don't care if nobody asks for it. I want to do it because it's really nice. My video games have a separate section, and art books, and then the books there's a rhyme and reason for them, so it's really good. I'm really happy with it. But with that whole thing, I had to move a lot of things that I had on top of my bookshelf that weren't supposed to be there. Yeah, but were there. So now I have to find out where I'm going to put them. It's a work in progress. So if you see mess around me, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's start with the books, shall we? I'm deeply thinking which book I shall start. So let's do, I guess, this one, since it's, I would say, the most different. Okay, we've got a blend of, they're going to fall. Please don't fall. We've got a blend of fiction, non-fiction, and some classics. So, first up, I've got, sorry for my ring light, the LGBTQ plus history book, Big Ideas Simply Explained. DK has this book series, where they essentially, sorry, I'm just moving my microphone, where they essentially, I'm going to maybe turn up the gain and turn the volume for myself, where they essentially tackle different topics, and they kind of reduce the amount of information into a nicely digestible, thick nonetheless, and very educating book. There's many different ones. I have the mythology one and a psychology one. Now this is my third baby, and I would wish to have so many different ones. There's I always think my tapping is too loud, so let me just turn my gain down for this. So essentially, they have different topics like architecture, biology, economics, feminism, World War II, crime, this colorful. It's not just the LGBTQ plus book, but yeah. So I'm very excited about this to be reading it on the channel. So yeah. Let's put this that one. Sorry. Okie dokie. I just realized that I actually think I have them in I'm going to do one beautiful thing, and that is flip them upside down, because I think we could talk about them in the order that they're in, but just upside down, because I know which book I want to talk about last, because that will contain spoilers as well. Okay, so first things first, I've got here Dune by Frank Herbert. Is that his name? Jesus. Okay, thank God. This, you'll see these tabs with every single one of these books, and the reason is that I recently got into, like, I guess this will be like under annotating, but I don't write in my books. Okay, like there's one exception. Okay, we'll talk about that in a different video. But okay, why not mention it here? I don't annotate, meaning I write in my books. Go off if you do. I feel uncomfortable. I don't find it aesthetically pleasing. It stresses me out. I'm someone who misspells things, and like I will make a mistake, and I also can't space things. It's just it's too permanent with a pen, and with pencil I don't have the need to be commenting on something that is like relatable or like alright to me, because I don't know, I know how I feel. So yeah, but the only time I've annotated book and I had a good time was when the book turned out to be something I disliked, so I was dragging it through dirt, and that's when I had a lot of fun. But I also wasn't annotating every page, just like comments, and yeah, anyway. But I use book tabs, and I am that one person who has to match it to the book cover. I will murder people who use the highlighter ones for book covers that are like pastel. It really hurts me. So I'm unable to do that. So I am also so obsessive that I already prepared colors, and because Dune is, she's thick, and she has tiny letters. I know that I'm not gonna have enough colors, so I just prepared a bunch of them to just have the color available to even tab the book at all. Not even like, oh, this is for a good moment, this is for explanation, this is for, I don't know. No, I fully expect with this one to just, I'm just going to use this, use it up, use this, use it up. But yeah, anyway, I've never read Dune, and if you're not new, you know this, but if you're new, I had my avid reader phase back in like 2012, 13, 14, I would say. So yeah, and I feel like during that time, stuff like Hunger Games, Percy Jackson, Divergent, Shadowhunters were popping, you know, so like those series were kind of my main areas of interest. I don't think I read much of science fiction back then. And then I grew out of my avid reader phase, and if I dabbled into books and literature, it was usually nonfiction or nonfiction, slices of life, contemporary, and that's still where my heart lies. But something in me just felt the guttural need to pick up Dune this year. I don't know. I haven't seen the movies. I don't have anything that really ties me to this. I remember some of my closest friends mentioned the book like 2 years back or whatever, that they really enjoyed the books or just were reading it. And I have recollection of that, but I didn't feel like picking it up, and something in me just and 6 slap hard. They're great. 5th one is like, okay. 3 and 4 are ugly in my humble opinion. I hate those. I really do. But also, the majority is winning, so we gotta commit. And if I'm never going to get to the other books, then at least I have the first cover, I don't know, I really like this. There's just something about it. If you read Dune, let me know how you felt about it. If I will be properly Dunified, I will try to read the second book. Or I don't know how the movies go. I don't know if whatever's happening in the movies is first movie, first book, second movie, second book. I'll have to find out. But if yes, then if I do read, no, I feel like I would like to read it all. Might be very ambitious, but maybe if I'm properly Dunified, I would. I'm legit on the first book, on the second book. It's going to be a very long video. I ramble a lot. I will give you timestamps. I'm sorry. If I will be properly Dunified, I might, read all of the books and then go see the second movie in a cinema. But I'm not promising anything. But I think it's well made. That people really like the movies. So yeah, I mean, stellar cast really displays the range of the actors. Great soundtrack, great cinematography, visual effects. So I love to see it. And in the same sense, I've got the second book, which is Dune Messiah, and this is one of the covers that I still do enjoy. So yeah, look at this, so it's now so bright. So yeah, pretty. I've got my colors ready. It honestly heals my soul, that one. If I ever get through that, that this is thinner. So yeah. Shall I? Okay, you know what I'm going to be. Let's read the blurb as if you don't know. Okay, but I've never seen the movies. I don't know how it's pronounced in English. I'm not a native English speaker. Don't eat me for mispronouncing the names, okay? Thank you. I'm too scared. The spice melange is the rarest and most valuable element in the universe. It does everything from increasing a person's lifespan to making interstellar travel possible, and it can only be found on a single planet, the inhospitable desert world Arrakis. Whoever controls Arrakis, would that be the English pronunciation? Controls the spice, and whoever controls the spice controls the universe. When the Emperor transfers stewardship of Arrakis to the noble house of Harkonnen to House Atreides, is that how it's pronounced in English? The Harkonnens fight back, murdering Duke Leto Atreides. Lady Jessica, Duke Leto's concubine, flees into the desert with their young son Paul, where they are rescued by a band of Fremen, the native people of Arrakis. The Fremen control Arrakis' second great source, the monstrous worms that burrow beneath the burning desert sands. In order to raise an army to avenge his father and retake Arrakis from the Harkonnens, Paul must earn the trust of the Fremen. You see, I don't know. And lead a tiny army against the innumerable forces aligned against them. His journey will change everything. So that's the first synopsis, and the second one will be God, spoilers, right? God, the whiplash I got after the first sentence. 12 years after his victory over House Harkonnen. So I guess we're having a time skip. Chomp chomp. Paul Atreides rules Arrakis as Emperor. I shouldn't be reading this. Whatever. It's not as if I'm expecting big things. I think I spoiled myself stuff along the way. I'm not that pressed, but I just realized that I probably shouldn't be reading this. Paul Atreides rules Arrakis as emperor, and his victory has profound consequences. War has been brought to the entire known universe, and billions have already perished, despite having become the most powerful emperor known to history. Okay, Slay, go off. Paul is powerless to bring an end to the fighting. As former allies conspire to dethrone Paul, and even his own consort acts against him. Is that a spoiler shit? Paul accepts a gift from the Leilaksu, a guild matters continue to escalate, Paul will be forced to choose between his throne, his wife, his people, and his future, and the future of the entire universe. So yeah, that was nice spoiler recession. Moving on, 21 minutes, and I've talked about I'm Horrible, sorry. Next up, we've got Six of Crows by Liberdugo. Now, got my tabs ready. The story for this is I've been vaguely aware of, not vaguely, quite aware of the existence of Shadow and Bone during my avid reader phase during that time, and I was also aware of Six of Crows. What I wasn't aware of, because at the time I didn't really realize who wrote which, I constantly got them confused, like Six of Crows with The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, because Raven and Crow was the same thing. It was a blackbird to me. So I had no idea. It just didn't really click in my head. I have not known though that this is connected with the Shadow and Bone universe, that like the Grishaverse and everything. I found out just recently, and on top of it all, I can't say that I'm much intrigued by a new fantasy world. I don't really have like fantasy in here. The thing is, I feel like for me to read fantasy, I feel like I'm not convinced by fantasy anymore, which is just so sad, and I don't think I have the mental capacity to be like fully experiencing the world building and like the fantasy aspects of it. That just doesn't seem all that intriguing to me, and I don't want to read all these probably great fantasy stories and probably not be blown away by them just because I was not in the right mindset to read fantasy, you know. So with Shadow and Bone, I have not read it, and my interest in it is like mild, you know. What, however, I am very interested in is seeing Six Menaces wreaking havoc. That just is much more, even though I know it is connected with Shadow and Bone, and obviously is in the same universe, and obviously is like has the supernatural aspects, just not like this isn't a contemporary slice of life read, you know. But the characters and their dynamic and the concept of Six of Crows seems much more appealing to me than Shadow and Bone. However, I'm not saying that I won't read that. Actually, maybe if I finish this, my best friend has read it in this order, like Six of Crow duology first, and then Shadow and Bone, and she said that it's fine. And I might be confused about some things, but the dynamic among the characters is what matters the most anyway, and I've spoiled myself enough to understand things. So, as for this one, if I will enjoy this a lot, I might actually read the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and then, what is it, Rule of Wolves, something like that, the duology, or is it going to be a trilogy, I don't know, that focuses on Prince Nikolai, something like that, who knows, but yeah, I am genuinely very excited about this, because one thing that I'm just a big sucker for is, even though I know that there is romance and there's a very slight subplot, if anything, it's the type of romance that is not gonna bother me. I'm not someone who is able to read something that has romance that is the typical Grand Cheddar romance, sorry, because it's not something that I'm really bothered by. No, I am bothered by it, it's not something that makes me excited or makes me like, oh, this is cute or whatever, you know, like the fact that this, even though it has romance, it offers me something different. It is queer romance, or it is romance that, you know, the touch aversion, the kind of longing but not being able to, you know, succumb to your desires due to trauma and stuff like that, just offers me something different. And thanks to it, the romance isn't so strong that it would be overpowering the actual plot of Six Menaces wreaking havoc, you know. So yeah, let's read that back. Criminal prodigy Casper has been offered a chance at a deadly heist, break into the Ice Court, a military stronghold that has never been breached, and retrieve a hostage whose knowledge could change sad case. Somebody described this book as causing them to be physically ill and even just causing them anxiety just thinking about the book. So like I'm so down. She will take me 70 years to read, and I'm not a slow reader, but I just feel like after every section I'll probably have to take a month-long break. How this inspired, I wasn't aware of this book whatsoever. I was gushing about Sirens and Muses to my best friend, and I was talking about Robert in the book, and about Vince, and about, spoiler for Sirens and Muses, mute your ears for a second, how, I mean it's not all that important, it's just a little tidbit, how Vince kind of stuck with Robert and kind of developed a crush on Robert, and Robert was aware, but he never really turned Vince down like as he should have, and he kind of kept leading him on because he liked the attention, he liked being loved like that, and because he never turned it down, Vince then was looking for love in other places eventually, but in all the wrong places. And it was during the 80s, was it during the 80s, the AIDS outbreaks and the AIDS crisis and stuff, and he succumbed to AIDS, and it just, that storyline, I mean there's so much more to it than what I'm just saying, but I just said how touching it was, and I would be willing to even read just Robert's point of view on like his life and everything, because he's a middle-aged man that has lived through his life, and just there's a lot to it. Okay, anyway, and she told me, oh, you would like A Little Life, and I was like, oh, okay. After that person on BookTube that I randomly stumbled upon said that the book causes them physical anxiety, I'm like, there's only a singular book that has done that to me, that is History Is All You Left Me, and we all know how I feel about that book, so, I mean, it's my favorite read, but I'm legit, I don't think I will be able to read that book ever again without having an actual panic attack. So, yeah, I'm excited. I got this cover because the one with the man with the grimace on the cover is upsetting to me. I just don't like real people on covers, but I do have another book coming in that I feel like the covers will be real matching, and I feel like it's the sad case genre, So now I'm like, that could have been a sleigh, but I also don't want that man on the cover, so I chose this. I don't know if it has any significance apart from the fact that they moved to New York, I believe. So yeah, we can read the blurb. A Little Life. When four classmates from a small Massachusetts college moved to New York to make their way, they're broke, adrift, and buoyable only by their friendship and ambition. There is kind, handsome Willem, an aspiring actor J.B., a quick-witted, sometimes cruel painter pursuing fame in the art world Malcolm, a frustrated architect at a prominent firm, and a withdrawn, brilliant, enigmatic Jude who serves as their center of gravity. Over the decades, their relationships deepen and darken, tinged by addiction, success, and pride. Yet the greatest challenge each comes to realize is Jude himself. By midlife, a terrifyingly talented lawyer, yet an increasingly broken man, his mind and body scarred by an unspeakable childhood and haunted by a degree of trauma that he fears he will not only be unable to overcome, but that will define his life forever. In a novel of extraordinary intelligence and heart, Inagita has fashioned a masterful depiction of heartbreak and dark and haunting examination of the tyranny of experience and memory. My best friend also told me that like a lot of the book is kind of boring and then just full depression. I don't know if I will mind that because I'm someone who gets very much attached to characters. So if I will feel some way for the characters, I'm not saying that they have to be positive characters. I find myself being attached to characters that are very much flawed. But if I'll find myself attached to characters, I feel like I'll nonetheless enjoy just seeing them go through life and the treacherous road that is for them. So yeah. Next up, we've got Even Though I Knew the End. So I'm going to sit slightly further and bring my microphone just so that you see the book actually. Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. Yes, this is essentially noir, mystery, detective, that just do it for me. What moves the dead is my baby. I will legit eat my own food for the second one that's coming January 2024. Thinking for sure. You've got the book. You have a cover. Just drop the book. Come on. Don't be edging. Don't be teasing me. Like, anyway, yeah, she's thin, but I think she's going to be fun. Let me read you the blurb. A magical detective dives into the affairs of Chicago's divine monsters to secure a future with the love of her life. The sapphic period piece will dazzle anyone looking for mystery, intrigue, romance, magic, or all of the above. An exiled Auspex who sold her soul to save her brother's life is offered one last job before serving an eternity in hell. When she turns it down, her client sweetens the pot by offering up the one payment she can't resist, the chance to have a future where she grows old with the woman she loves. To succeed, she's given 3 days to track down the White City vampire, Chicago's most notorious serial killer. If she fails, only hell and heartbreak await. I'm sorry, but that sounds good. So, that's very exciting. The case will be getting, hopefully. We're catching a murderer. That is so fun. It's textured. It's kind of greedy. So yeah, very excited about that. Next up, I've got my non-fiction of the haul, which is Beautiful Boy by David Jeff. Now, backstory as to why I'm holding this and how I got to even know of this. I was on Tumblr, as one is, because Tumblr is an amazing place, thank you. Not the 2013 one, but I bet that was amazing right now. Back then as well, but right now, if you're looking into video games and video game sets and analysis and like gift sets and just video game photography, or like even like from TV shows, movies, just gifts that are like so intricately made. It's a great place. I have a great time on there. That being said, I was looking through some tag, Lord knows what kind, and there was a collage of different movies that the person who made the collage said their life has not been the same since. So I just looked through them because I recognized like the perks of being a wallflower and stuff like that. So just look through the movies, see which ones I have seen or know of and stuff. And I saw Beautiful Boy there, and I recognized like, oh, I guess that's Timothée Chalamet's, which I'm not like this. I'm not someone who has seen his entire filmography. Man's talented, good for him. I think he deserves the fame. There's something about him that definitely is very intriguing, and he's showing off his range, his acting abilities in his recent project. Good for him. That being said, I'm not someone who knows like every single thing that he acted in, but I've seen probably like a photo somewhere or a gif that just didn't fit into the other things that I've seen him in. So I was like, oh, I guess it's this. But I didn't know it was called Beautiful Boy. I didn't know what it was about. And I was like, hey, well, it's on the list with many other things that I've enjoyed. Let's see what this is about. And immediately showed me the book. And I was like, oh, it has a book. Let's read. And essentially, as it's on the cover written, a father's journey through his son's addiction. This is essentially, I don't know if memoir would be correct. That's not really the correct way to describe it. It's David Jeff. subtle warning signs, the denial, the 3 a.m. phone calls, the attempts at rehab, and finally, the way past addiction. Crystal meth is acknowledged to be the world's most addictive and dangerous drug, wreaking permanent brain damage faster than any other available narcotic. But Nick's story is not just about meth. His story and his father's is one of any family struggling to support an addict. And what ultimately really made me I want to read this, and it's such a simple line, but I think it just is very impactful. Maybe because it's just so personal to David Sheff. It's not on here, but I think it's on Amazon's synopsis. What happened to my beautiful boy? Where did I go wrong and stuff? And I feel like that just really hits. I feel like we often have depiction of the addiction depicted from the addicted person point of view, which is very important as well. I'm not gonna say I support Sam Levinson because I sure as hell do not. And Euphoria has so many things wrong with it, and I frankly think the only good thing about it is the looks. And if anything, I liked the depiction of how volatile addiction is, with Rue and her story, and how it damaged her family and how difficult it was. And you kind of follow the story of Rue's addiction through her eyes, and you see how maybe glimpses into how her mom is reacting and everything, or her sister. But this is from the parents' point of view. It essentially talks about how, what? Sorry, I'm so out of it today. It is offering you something different. It is offering you the kind of despair a parent feels when you have your child. We're talking about the picture perfect family. Obviously, family dynamics and families are so vast and all so very different. So we're talking about the family when the parents are not abusive, they're supportive. Children have all the environment to be able to flourish and achieve great things. And you're looking at it through the parents' point of view, where you want the absolute best for your child. There's not a single thing bad you want for them to happen to them. And what happened to David Sheff's beautiful boy. One moment he was this aspiring boy with such a bright future, and next second he's just someone that you don't recognize. And I feel like it's very easy. It's this internal dilemma with parents that have children that struggle with addiction, that on one hand you just want to give up, you just want to show them you are someone I don't recognize. You can't expect me to be here for you when you're ruining your life, when you're ruining lives of those who love you and are around you, But on the other hand, giving up on them would probably make them give up on any hope altogether. Absolutely the biggest props to anyone who is able to overcome addiction on their own. That is such an incredibly difficult thing, and you have all my respect. But so many people need the support of other people, even when they don't want it in the moment, even when they feel like they're smothering them, and that they're not understanding, and that you're right in your ways for what you're doing. That support, that unrelenting support, will be able to pull them out of that water, hopefully. And it was just something about being able to read from the father's point of view, of seeing his son deteriorate, and how he tries to not to lose hope and not give up on Nick, even though it's difficult. Maybe other people had given up on him. I don't know. So I just wanted to read this. I don't think this is going to be a book that I would ever review, because it's obviously someone's story, and I just feel weird even commenting on it, if it was good or not. If it will be a thing that I regard as, read this if you want more insight how that feels, or if somebody in your inner circle or around you struggles with addiction, tell them about the book. just if you know and you know animals, it's like. But yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna say what, but there's that. I feel like ultimately the most important thing in the book, that one moment that I'm like, the way that I could analyze the scene for a 20-page essay, like, read it. And next up in the last book I've got is All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Maria Remarque. Now, if you have not read this book and you would like to, click off the video because I am going to be talking like spoilers with this because I want to express my opinion. Because I'm not going to be like doing a review on this. I've read this book. It's my baby. I would say it's my favorite classic novel. I think my top 5 would be All Quiet on the Western Front, Of Mice and Men, The Metamorphosis, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and The Great Gatsby. As of those that I've just read and encountered so far, I would, if I can, I think with the honest hand on my heart, I can say that this would be my favorite one if I had to choose. The greatest war novel of all time. Fuck yes, it is. This should be mandatory read. This was a mandatory read in high school for me. It changed my life. Have I ever expected to be this affected by a mandatory read? No. Was this life-changing? Absolutely. I'll never shut up about it. I'll talk about it in a minute. Let's read the synopsis. I am young. I am 20 years old. Yet I know nothing of life but despair, death, fear, and fatuous superficiality cast over an abyss of sorrow. This is the testament of Paul Boimer, who enlists with his classmates in the German army. Oh my god. In the German army of World War I. These young men become enthusiastic soldiers, but their world of duty, culture, and progress breaks into pieces under the first bombardment in the trenches. Through years of vivid horror, Paul holds fast to a single vow to fight against the hatred that meaninglessly pits young men of the same generation, but different uniforms, against one another. If only he can come out of the war alive. And here's a book review by the New York Times. The world has a great writer in Eric Maria Remarque. He is the craftsman of unquestionably first rank, a man who can bend language to his will, whether he writes of men or inanimate nature. His touch is sensitive, firm, and sure. So essentially, my memory might be a little fuzzy, so please don't eat me alive if I don't say something exactly correct, but you follow a 19-year-old boy, Paul Boimer, who essentially enlists in the war because he's kind of urged on, indoctrinated by his teacher, who very much promotes enlisting and being drafted into war. And him and his classmates, like Paul and his classmates, they're young. They haven't experienced life. They just finished school. And they have this kind of like idol figure, telling them like, oh, yeah, that's very good. Yeah, you should. So they do. And throughout the book, you follow Paul in his time during the war and essentially how war changed his life forever. I feel like the absolutely ultimate moment that really made me realize that this book is everything to me, among many other moments, but it was when I don't know how this will be in the terms, but like the terminology for it, but he kind of got like a break, a vacation, 3 months long break from being at the front, and he could go back home. So he did. But when he's home, he doesn't know how to live his life. You have this young boy who should be lively and exploring and finding himself and experiencing what life is all about. That is back home. That doesn't feel like his home anymore. And of course, like if anything, the front feels more like the home. He's, like longs for it, but being at the front will never feel like home. Because home should be somewhere where you feel safe and comfortable, and being in the those 3 months to pass by so he can go back. Not because he like wants to, but he knows it's inevitable, and it's like he didn't have anything before he left. He's not able to get anything, form anything, start anything, because it's just 3 months. What is he going to form relationships that he's going to have to abandon in 3 months? Like, and if he even makes it out of the war, his life will never be what it could have been if he hadn't been drafted into war at such a young age. You know, so many people have to live with the memory of war if they survive, and that just alters a person's life forever. War trauma is so real, and Paul and his classmates alongside him, and he has to watch them die, be shredded to pieces, and he doesn't get the chance to mourn. If your friend next to you gets his leg blown off and he falls while you're running away, you cannot stop and go help him. It's like he had to say goodbye to so many of his friends and to so many people he had met on the front. And isn't necessarily like friends. It's like people that become something more than friends, close to family, but never that. It's a very complicated relationship, and you know, Paul suffers, and there's this another scene where he's in the trenches, and I think he gets stuck either at the enemy's side, or the enemy gets stuck on the German side, and eventually gets stuck in the trenches with I believe, a French soldier. I also believe Paul kills him, which I mean is valid in the sense that they have this drilled into their heads that the opposite army are enemies. They're wrong. They're doing the wrong thing. We are doing the right thing. We're fighting for the right reasons. But in the end, those that have this beef and this conflict are those that will never have to stand in those trenches and have to watch people be blown up and suffer the consequences of their actions. It's innocent people who have families, who have lives, who just wish to go back. And yeah, I think he kills him, but then he finds, I believe, a family photo, and there's a wife and a kid, and it just really, you know, shows Paul, like, for the first time he's so aware that that person is not his enemy. That person is French Paul. They're the same people like he is. People who are taken away from their families to fight a war that is not their battle to fight. And they're killing each other because you have to survive. You cannot just raise a white flag and be like, let's be all friends, even though many of them will probably wish to do so, but you cannot do that. So now you have to know that you're slaughtering innocent people that just want to survive. As much as you would hate to be killed, they feel the same way. And I think Paul promises himself that he will find the man's wife, and I don't know if apologize or just tell her of what happened, because they're waiting for him to come back. And it's just, this was banned in the Nazi Germany, I think in 1920s, 30s. I mean, understandably, when war was, happening during that time in Germany, and this novel really much shows you that war isn't anything gracious and isn't anything one should strive for, and it only brings misery and agony upon the people of the country. And so many of us are so very fortunate that we never got to experience war, but there are people who experience this today and have to live with that, and it's an extremely moving story. And if you feel like you aren't affected by wars and you need to be humbled, I needed to be humbled. Read this. It's really, man, the way that I feel about this novel, not because it would be like, oh my god, it's a brilliant story, Paul is like such a cool character. No, it's a miserable read. It's so horrid. It's gut-wrenching. If you feel for someone, you're fucked, because they're probably going to get killed. Like, it's a miserable time, but that's exactly what war offers to these young boys. Bo was 19. Can you imagine being drafted into war at 19 and never getting to experience what it's like to even live your own life? And it's just it's just something else, really. So an international bestseller. From Germany, the greatest war book that has ever been written. From England, surely the greatest of all war books. It stands preeminent. From France, it should be distributed by the millions and read in every school. Hard agree. From Sweden, it is a great document, a powerful work of art. All other books about war become small and insignificant by comparison. From America, it is to me the greatest book about war that I've ever seen. That is true. This is a book to be neither an accusation nor a confession. Sorry, I almost cried. And actually, when I was thinking about this book, I spilled a tear, but I reeled myself back in because I would be a really shitty actress if I couldn't do that. And least of all, an adventure for death. It is not an adventure to those who stand face to face with it. It will try simply to tell of a generation of men who, even though they may have escaped shells, were destroyed by the war. So yeah, read it. I don't care if you don't read books, which, I mean, you should, sorry, but you should. This is an extremely impactful read, and it's nothing that is like, it's not like I feel like a lot of the classical novels have that notion of like old language that is so boring, and I don't know, this can be easily implemented to today's current time wars and all of that, so yeah, read it. So that would be it, guys. I'm so sorry